It is now 19 hours in Guyana with your nightly newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Shadow Minister of Natural Resources David Patterson is adamant that the government prefers to have an understaffed and undermined environmental protection agency, even if it means putting the country at risk to show off Guyana as the most fast-paced developing country in the world. While focused on this objective, the former Minister of Public Infrastructure said it may end with the citizens of Guyana being the unhealthiest in the world, owing to the inadequate performance of the regulatory body. The AFC party member was keen to point out that it is the onset of the oil and gas operations that highlighted the deficiencies of the EPA. However, a $1 million World Bank loan taken by the former coalition government was geared at addressing this issue. GPL on Sunday announced that it is seeking contractors to supply a total of 50 megawatts of heavy fuel oil generated power to the national grid. The power company explained that it has opened invitations for applicants to submit detailed proposals or proposal to provide 50 megawatts generating capacity in 2 lots through a power purchase agreement. GPL also pointed out that applicants are invited to explore the options of a power barge and land-based power generating facilities with black starting and heavy fuel storage capabilities. And moving on, a recent accident at the Damarara Harbour Bridge, which resulted in the closure of the structure to vehicular traffic for 3 days, saw the government reportedly spending 1 billion barrels to conduct emergency repair works, a sum which transparency activists believe must be explained. Glenn Lal, the publisher of Kaieteur News and an advocate for transparency and good governance, said that the administration must show how it expended the whopping sum to put the bridge back into operation over a mere 3 days. He was keen to note that the astronomical sum that was used up in 3 days is equivalent to a 7% salary increase for an entire year for all public servants in the country. And moving on, 3 bandits, one of them armed with a gun, last week invaded the yard of a family living at Ogle, East Coast Damarara, robbing them of their cellular phones, a haversack and a motorcycle. The crime was caught on security cameras mounted on the family's home, and it showed that the bandits walked into the family's yard around 18 hours 36 last week Monday while a couple was relaxing outside. Police are currently searching for the criminals. And moving on, the body of an unidentified man was on Sunday found lying on a bench close to Royal Castle at the Starbrook Bus Park, Central Georgetown. The discovery was made around 6 hours 30 by a health worker who at first thought that the man was only sleeping. The health worker said that he was passing when he saw the man lying on a bench with a coat over his face. Persons around the Starbrook Market area are acquainted with the dead man but do not know where he lives, if he has relatives, or his name. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur newspaper. Following a 2-year hiatus, the Burbies exposition hosted by the Central Quarantine Chamber of Commerce was held over the weekend. At the launch, President Ali, who gave the feature address, highlighted his government's plan, which he said was in tune with the vision of building a modern Guyana in 2030 and beyond, noting that investments are being made in infrastructure, human resources, institutional capacity, and the building out of the right adaptable technology to position the economy. He also pointed out that it is critical for Guyana to also become a leader in environmental biodiversity service and ecological service. And to wrap things up this evening, in a bid to revamp the agriculture sector in Guyana, at a time when the industry has been declining steadily over the past few years, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has urged Burbies citizens to plant more, as more oil projects will carry up the demand for food as well as in the country. Minister Mustafa was at the time addressing the residents of Cotton Tree, West Coast Burbies on Friday. According to a press release from the Department of Public Information, Mustafa explained that with major budgetary allocations and financial injections into the agriculture sector over the past 2 years under the PPPC government, Guyana is poised for major development in the sector. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at 19 hours 20, it's the Glenn Lal Show. Tell it as it is.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your